So in one of my other videos, I acknowledged I would really love to see a third installment of the Angry Birds movie series. Here in this video today, I want to talk about what I would like to see in the movie, what characters I want, the plot, and so on. So without further ado, let's begin with the characters. In this movie, I would have the classic cast of characters, meaning Chuck, Bomb, and of course Red. However, there are some characters I also don't want to focus on that much for this movie. Those characters would be Zeta, Silver, and Matilda. You can see where I'm going with this, right? That's right, this movie would be set in space. It would take after the fan favorite Angry Birds space game, but we'll talk about that a bit later in the plot section of the video. All of the characters would be played by their respective VAs, as they were in the previous movies. I would also add a new character, that of course being, yup, you guessed it, Icebird. The only thing I'm not sure about is who would play him, so I'll let you decide in the comment section of the video. Terrence and the Blues would also be included in the main bunch. Now one of the main topics is who would be the main villain of the third film. I mean, the first one had pigs, but they all sort of got along, and the second one had Zeta and her army of eagles. Who would the third movie's villain be? Well, that's a simple answer. The third movie's villain would be pigs. And you might say, but the pigs were the first movie's villains, you can't just reuse villains, that's repetitive. Well, no, I wouldn't have those pigs as villains, but rather space pigs, you know, like alien pigs and such. But there's still one thing in all of these movies. There's a main villain. You know, like the first one it was Leonard, and in the second one it was Zeta. So who would be the main villain here? Well, that is also a very easy answer. It's a character that's not known by many Angry Birds fans, but I thought it would be a great way to get him more popular. The main villain would be King Forktongue, from the Angry Birds Space comic series. King Forktongue was a villain from Angry Birds Comics issue titled Let's Snake on It. King Forktongue was a giant snake king who rules alien pigs. The movie could also feature the little dinosaur looking guy who we see at the beginning of the comic, who tells our flock that there are no birds left on the planet, and so on and so forth. I chose King Forktongue because he's a really cool villain concept to me, and I would love to see him in movie form. So that about does it for the characters, and let's start with the plot. The movie begins in space, where briefly an unknown object is traveling to Earth at immense speed. We would then cut to Bird Island. As we zoom in, we can see that the birds are having fun and having a picnic together. It shows them having fun, laughing, Chuck lays down a few jokes here and there, and overall they're having a good time. Alright, so after that the story would be exactly the same as we saw in the Angry Birds Space trailer. All of a sudden the leaves on the ground start moving, it starts to get windy, very windy. Suddenly a purple portal opens up in the sky where a mysterious ice cube shaped bird with an asteroid drops down and creates a massive crater in the ground. All birds who are around run away except for our main cast. Icebird and the flock exchange a few lines when suddenly a massive claw peeks out of the portal and grabs the mysterious golden egg, but with it, it also takes some of the bird's eggs. So the flock decides to use a nearby slingshot to launch themselves in the air and go after the mysterious Icebird. The Blues also secretly, out of curiosity, fling themselves into the portal with the rest of the flock. Whilst going through the portal, the bird's appearance changes and they would all gain superpowers. Red, with the power to cut through objects with his mind, the Blues with electric powers, Chuck with the power to go even faster than he normally could, and he also can shoot lasers out of his eyes, Bomb to explode in a fiery fashion, and Terrence with the power to instantly smash anything he desires. The birds would land on a strange planet. They would wander around a bit, not knowing where they are, when they would suddenly see Icebird again. He would be furious. They would exchange a few words and they would ask him what's going on and where they are. Icebird would tell them and they would quickly team up and begin to search for their eggs. From here the story would take on the same wacky style as the first two movies did. Here's a brief summary of what events would take place. They would search for the eggs, they would meet some pigs, fight them, win, Icebird would show off his unique abilities, and so on. Then they would finally come to the main building where King Forktongue is located. There would be a big fight with the birds almost losing, but just in the last moment they would think of something and defeat the king and get their eggs back. The story would conclude with Icebird leaving back home and the birds returning, and of course they would lose their powers. So that about does it for the plot and everything overall. Overall, I think this would make a great movie, but you can let me know what you think in the comment section below. Hope you guys have a wonderful morning, day or night, and I'll see you all next time. Oink out, my friends.